I don't even think you really know what a bad day is.
We'll find out.
Weld those to it. Our buddy Jack Stoll sent these to us. So Saab powered E30. Sent this to us. We're gonna weld that stuff up. Nothing under there. It's all getting rebuilt. Alright, so you can see we had to cut this in half because it was too long, because the M5 diff, these bolts are actually more narrow from the factory E30 one. So this reinforcement that Jack sent us, we had to cut it in half, and then we're mating it together. Justin's about to tack it all together, and then we're going to heat it up along the edge and beat it down until it meets down here, and then we'll weld the whole thing up later on. And then of course we've got these other reinforcements that we're going to weld on top of it, just kind of as an added reinforcement for this. And then later on we'll tack those on and probably move on to the knuckles. And a little bit of reinforcement going on here. We're about to test fit it. Make sure it all still lines up. It won't. It should. Theoretically. Allegedly. Yeah. So we're about to stick it on the studs.
Could you go down with the car already?
So we're trying to scan the underneath of the car to try to draw some of this up in CAD. We're gonna build some tubing for the rear diff ears out of 1 1/4 inch tube. Once the tubing bender comes in, we'll bend it all up. Right now we're scanning it, and Justin's gonna draw it up. We got the real scan going on today.
Yeah, bro.
With the LiDAR set up instead of this photo stuff. Your hair is just glorious.
Thanks, man.
I love it.
I appreciate it. I didn't realize you were filming it. You're gonna be on YouTube now.
Candid camera. Yeah, buddy. It's a little JDM meet, all right-hand drive. Crazy. These cars are super clean. Which one makes the most power? SR20, 1JZ, or SR20? Which one? T28, T28, whatever the JZX comes with stock. Or does the GPR make more power? I think the GPR makes more power.
I think the GPR does too.
Or hell, maybe this little thing does.
And it does it with a nice race thing to just go.
Yeah, yeah. Just turn the wick up, advance the timing a little bit. All right, now that everybody's gone, I can kind of go over this again really quickly. So obviously we've got the diff out, or sorry, the diff in and the subframe in. We did a little reinforcement here. And then we did a little reinforcement there, and we did a little reinforcement up there, and it just barely clears like always. We are going to cut all this out from here all the way over, and we're going to build a tubular section right there for the diff to mount to. I think I'm going to buy some different Delrin bushings that have sleeves in them. I don't like the fact that these don't have sleeves, so I think I'm going to do that. Other than that, you know, we just reinforce that. We're going to reinforce this. We're going to tie in somewhere from the subframe to this. So we're actually going to take from here up and tie into the bar that we're going to make. And that should get this whole deal supported pretty nicely. Yeah, so anyways, other than that, I am buying some stock front struts. We're going to put stock front struts in there. I may put some Bilstein shocks in it so we can have some travel. Yeah, and then we are going to do some reinforcements on this. We're going to put this little deal right here. We're going to reinforce it there. Now, this is webbing down here. It's not very strong. We don't want this to deflect, so we're going to weld that in there. And then we've already got the rear reinforcement for the sway bar. We've got this reinforcement in there. We're going to weld this to the knuckle, and then we're going to take some 1 1/4 inch tubing, and we're going to brace it from here to somewhere in here. So this will be nice and braced. That part will be braced. That's already done, and then I'm going to replace these Delrin bushings because there's some slack in the sleeve there, and I think it's just from over time. So I'm just going to put some fresh Delrin bushings in it. Yeah, other than that, if we've got time on the other diff cover, this isn't a spare, but on the other diff cover we might put the speed sensor in here so we can get our speedometer working again. But yeah, something about not having the metal in there. Who's that? Oh, Curtis. What's up, bro?
Hey, man.
Cutting shit out.
What a retard.
That ground down. I'll put these plates that he's welding. We're gonna slide the sleeve down through the holes and then weld around this. And do the same thing on the bottom. That's for the mounting. Weld's too hot. He doesn't know what he's doing.
You know you got that special bundle with the silent fiends. Went from the pit of hell, who would have thought who be near the mosh pit. My brother still look it, suck it, buy it, sell it, cook it and rock it. Bro, still cook it, book it, all your boss still got it. Lost this 28 days when I bought this cube.
See, we dropped that plate all the way down through the frame. I don't think you can see it. You can, so you can see. Anyway, so it drops through here. And I'm going to take this plate. And then we're going to weld here and all the way around the frame. And that will be basically the mounting point for the plates here. So we'll bolt up. The bolt will go through the sleeves on the top plate. We'll have the bolt actually going down and then the nuts on the bottom. Got some big beefy hardware. Some big boys, you can see. Very big stuff. M14, a lot more people use on 12 stuff, but M14 is overkill, and I'm cool with overkill at this point. So, following this out just a little bit, just need a little bit of clearance. We're going to shove the other one down in there. And then I'm going to stick that in and see how it works. And here we are. Bad lighting, the LED, as you can see. How it's going to work. So the sleeves are a little tight for the hardware.
You mean too small completely?
Yeah. So we're going to open them bad boys up.
So what you need to do now is put the fat bolt in the hole.
Can't really see very well, but
Because you turn the light off.
the thing's dead.
I guess we're gonna have to hammer that thing pretty quick.
Yeah, you get the idea. Slides down into the hole. Yeah.
I mean, last time we had to hit it with a hammer, so I don't know why I'm expecting anything different this time.
It is what it is. We're gonna put that in its home. They're definitely long enough.
This is gonna be in the way, probably. Definitely.
So bolts coming through. You can see the sleeves. This is the basic concept. We're gonna pull that down where that sleeve comes through a little bit more, and then we're gonna weld all the way around the frame, and then do the same thing up top.
Did you put any water in the fridge?
No. Sorry. Alright. It is mocked up. It's mocked. It took an act of Congress to get it in there. The tolerances is so damn tight. So as you can see, here's, you can see we're not done with the welds yet. We gotta finish the welds. But it's in there, and this plate here, this plate will be welded to the frame. The sleeves are gonna be welded to the underside of that. You can't see it. And then it's just bolts to that, so it doesn't like crush the frame. So yeah, we're tomorrow. something happened with my GoPro. So we're gonna weld a bar from here to here. I'll show the 3D drawing of it, but it's just gonna tie everything together so it'll be a big square and it can't move any which way. It will just be completely solid mounted in here. The only give that it would possibly have at this point would be the give from the Del run, which is not going to give very much. So we're going to bend up some pipe tomorrow. We got a new pipe bender, tubing bender, not pipe bender, tubing bender. So we're going to bend those up and probably just kind of tack them in there and then drop the whole subframe back down, stick it on the table, weld everything up, and then I've got some noise going on in the diff. We're going to take the diff and get new pinion bearings put in. I'm not sure what happened when it got rebuilt the first time, but it's making some kind of weird noise, so I really don't want to put it back together with weird noises. So anyways, yeah, we'll finish up welding all this tomorrow, finish up welding all the bars, and then start on the down bars. Stick the trailing arms back in when we're done with that, and then figure out where we're going to mount the sway bar.
So sick of these fucking GoPros. You know, you should say things 5 times before he gets his goddamn camera ready.
It's true.
So does everybody like our sweet trailer mount? I mean, bender mount?
Yeah, I pulled that off the Tundra. So we have the new Swag off-road bender.
New to us, not to Swag. They've been making it a few years.
Yeah, the Rev 2.
The old copy of somebody else's stuff, I'm sure.
About to bend some pipe. Test 1, what are we going, 32 degrees-ish?
32 degrees. As soon as it starts bending, stop. I want to see that we've pulled the slack out of the thing. Make sure we don't need to reset the 0.
All right, it's been, it literally just,
Okay.
that's a degree.
Yeah, so let's take a degree out of that. There's going to be some spring back. We want to go all the way to 32. All right, go for it. Stop at 32.
It's not moving.
What'd you do?
I think it stopped. Something's not right.
Yeah, these aren't tight. It's pushing it out of the thing.
Fuck. Okay.
All right, turn your shit off. Take 2.
All right. So we bent some shit. A lot of work for 2 bends. Bent that one. Of course, obviously it's just way too long for what we're doing, but give you guys a general idea. You shall not pass. What we are doing, reposition the camera, essentially is, we're going to tie from here to there. And it's going to go in between where the trailing arms mount, somewhere up in here, where it doesn't interfere and touch the trailing arm. We're going to go up here, and somewhere over there on top. Dink, like that. It's going to be like right there. So, yep. Bing, bing. It's gonna look kind of sick, dog. But yeah, that's the plan. And then we'll cut these short, we'll notch these up here, and then probably gonna have to angle this one and then weld it to the subframe. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing. We're just gonna make everything in here tie into each other so this won't bend anymore, because before the diff was bent. Now the diff wasn't bent, the diff was sideways. And we forced this side up to take the bend out. We went ahead and welded up our plates in here. And then in the floorboard we welded everything up too, which I don't know if you can see it, but I might be able to. Oh, doop. Kind of see right there, and then maybe like doop. So yeah. So. All right. And boom. That'll be close enough for what we're doing. Yeah. 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 Hell yeah. So we bought this Harbor Freight Special. Harbor Freight Special over here. It was like, oh, $700 tubing notcher or $40 tubing notcher from Harbor Freight. And then just stick a level on there. And it was like a $2 pull saw. It worked pretty good. We had to make a couple changes, but cut the tube like it was nothing.
Start putting an angle on it. So I'll have a piece of 2-inch straight tube.
So this was a little long. This was just kind of a test run to see if it would work. So we're gonna take some material off. The whole bar is too long, and then we're gonna notch it again with the new notcher and go from there. Oh shit! About to get loud.
I'm leaving the notch on.
Oh.
I'm just taking 2 inches off that side before I put an angle on it.
Got it. Nice and clean like. So I stuck the trailing arm in here for fitment at like the highest point that it could possibly be.
Like fitment? Fitment these nuts.
So that will butt up against here. Shit.
It's time to start cutting angles on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's taking our jobs. Can't believe he's doing that. That's all I can see. That's all I can get to. Don't zoom in on the welds. They'll see how bad I am at this.
All right, it's all tacked into place. You see there, we got the, I'm calling it a down bar. I don't know what we call it, honestly. I don't know if this is even like the right way to strengthen this stuff. We just kind of assume that more is mo better. So
yeah, I mean, let's keep the whole diff tied into the same piece of structure, bolted to the car.
So all that's bolted up there, that's welded to the subframe, and then yeah. So anyways, we're about to pull the diff out first, and then we're gonna pull the subframe down, and it'll be all one piece, welded at 4 different corners, and it'll be like a cradle. I guess it's a cradle at this point.
Still a rear subframe.
I mean, it's a subframe, right? But like,
yeah, it's just the rear subframe.
I don't know.
It's just bigger than it used to be.
It's a basket. All right, got the diff out. It just drops out. I mean, that was easy. Just boop, boop. Now you get a better sense of what it looks like up under there without the diff. About to pull the subframe now. Alright, it's all tacked together and just going in with the final TIG welding. Well, the subframe connector bars, mounting plates. This welds there. Like you already did this, and actually came out pretty good. I didn't realize you already did this side. It's hot. And I didn't touch it. And then of course this side, these ended up being a little longer. This angle is just a little too long for the whole thing, so he's gonna cut that flat and then kind of just box it in.
I feel like I asked you not to show people that.
Oh. We'll cut that out.
It's my bad fitment.
I mean,
the back fit well before I welded it.
I don't think that it would have mattered. I think that cut is like longer than the width of the subframe, so it just is what it is. And then I just measured for bolts, for the length of the bolts we need for the diff, since we added some thickness here. The diff bolts were a little too short, so we're going to get brand new ones from the MasterCar. Bolt those in. Don't make fun of my early welding here for my camber and toe plates. They're a little rough, so we're going to sand these down to where this can move a little bit more free.
Yeah, that's the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wire wheel all that paint off, go through and fill in gaps that are missing, and then sand it smooth.
Yeah, I missed a couple of things here and there, and you know, I was new. Just
we won't hold it against him.
But I think I tigged all that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's what you did. That's what it is, but you know.
Pretty bad.
It's bad, yeah.
What are you gonna say? It's not. It could be worse. Hey, it's held.
Yeah, it held fine.
That's all that matters. It works, it holds. It might be ugly, but it's just part of it. So yeah, we got the diff off. These were like some Delrin insert ones here. The good thing is this new deal clamps to the outside instead of in here. But I think what we're gonna do, I've got some new Delrin bushings here with some steel inserts. Now, of course, this is for an M12 bolt, which, if you don't remember, the last one we had, the bolt's bent. We used this mount here. The bolt's actually bent. So we're gonna see if we can get away with taking some material out of the sleeve, maybe. But we may end up just pressing in those sleeves, or we may say fuck it and just run this thing. I don't know yet. New brake lines all the way around. That'll get installed once the diff's back in. And then we've got to come up with a mount for the sway bar. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it, being that the sway bar is going to be further back. So before, the sway bar went across right here, and then it would come around and attach to the trailing arm. Well, we have our bar going across now, or at least it's in the way. The down bar is in the way now. So we're going to put the sway bar in front of the diff, and I had to extend these all the way out, which isn't that big of a deal, but we're going to have those all the way out, and we might have to lengthen it a little bit, and then we're going to make that mount for it. So yeah, it's all going to be pretty freaking custom. Justin dropped the tubing bender earlier.
Whoa. I dropped it on my leg. Like,
okay, yeah. He recovered.
It didn't hit the ground.
And he dent my exhaust.
The trailer hitch did that.
The trailer hitch dent my exhaust. That's like 5 horsepower.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's 0 horsepower.
If I go slower, it's because of that. I'm blaming that.
Maybe because of your chicken foot.
It's the okay. The chicken foot. Yeah. Well, if they let me race in sandals, I wouldn't have that problem.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, like an adult. Okay. Wear shoes like an adult. You know, just welding, doing a bit of welding in sandals. You know, like an adult.
Yeah.
All right, it is all welded up. I'm ready to go in. It's kind of hard to really see exactly what's going on here, but it's the diff mount. Bolts to the frame. These little crossbars. weld to the subframe. So this whole thing goes in as one big piece into the car. We reinforce this part where the diff mounts, reinforce this part with the diff mounts, reinforce the bottom of the subframe here. It's all painted so it's hard to see. So the thin sheet metal. Cut the ends off of this and boxed it in, welded that together. Yeah, I mean, this is probably overkill, but not really. I mean, I'd rather it just not ever become a problem. The theory is that all this is gonna, in order for the diff to move at all, it's all gotta fight against itself. And I don't think that it's gonna move at all. So, looks kind of sick. I'm gonna let it dry for a bit, and then we're gonna stick it up underneath there, and we'll be done for the day.
Should paint this shit gray so it'd have contrast.
Right? Alright, well, it's in there. Bolt it back up. Painted everything black.
This is what we had until we ran out and had to buy some more.
That too.
Next time we need to make sure what we have is gray. If this ever comes out again, paint it gray.
We're gonna have to do some seam sealer up here, so put some tape up there, gonna seam seal it and then pull the tape off. Yeah, so I mean, you know, we did have to. The hell?
You got a ghost.
We did have to beat that in a little bit, but it's not really structural. It's for the floor, so don't freak out. I mean, look, it's not even like it's like seam sealed in there from the factory, so the thing's not even really that structural. So anyways, made room for that, and it all fits nice and snug in here. Sucker isn't going anywhere. Next up, we'll put the trailing arms in. We're gonna beef up the trailing arms a little bit more, put those in, put the diff in, and then yeah, we'll test it, see how it does.
I'm gonna do this about 5,000 times, then I'll get it right. Just creep it in.
Yeah. Well, it'll end up looking like this. So this is the shock extender for our Vikings, because we have this big deal.
It actually welded in really nice, but the it felt like it was close to that, but it's probably just.
I already put the axle up.
Oh, everything's good.
Yeah, it's fine. So welded this little triangle structural piece from the casting to the arm, and then this is a shock extender for our Vikings. Since this is so big now, the factory shock is in the way, and the axle wouldn't work. So we put these extenders on, extended it out here, and then use the tubing bender to bend some more pipe, or tube, not pipe, and yeah, welded all that up. So now this whole thing is encompassed. It's not just hanging out by itself. Before, this was the only little spot that was holding it together, and it was just able to deflect. And now it can't deflect, it's a circle. So yeah, I'm going to paint it and then put some new bushings in it, put the brake lines on, and then stick it back on under the car. It's going in, it's going in, it's going in. We are finished with the rear subframe cradle sway bar setup thing that we created. I don't even know what to call it. We'll review. Remember, we put this little 1 1/4 inch tube here, the shock extenders, we welded all that in, the little triangle piece right there, welded that in, braced that, welded some stuff on top up there, welded some stuff in right there, redid some of the camber and toe plates. And then we made sway bar mounts. I'll post up some pictures of the process because I didn't get any video, but you can see here, it's basically like, I don't even know how thick this is. I don't remember, just like 1/2 inch thick or something. Like, it's pretty thick. It's big boy thick. Sway bar is attached. We threaded it, put some, those are actually diff axle bolts that were the perfect size to go through there. I had to run this all the way to the end because this got relocated to the back in front of the cover instead of behind the cover. So we may have to do something here. We might have to like weld an extension on here to get a little bit better of an angle. I don't know how well it's going to work once it's all up in the air. Or I need to just extend this, just put a longer head on here, the longer rod, and then that would just push it up even more. So something's probably going to have to get done there. But now I'm going to put the diff in. I just put the RTV on the cover. I'm going to stick it in there, and then its axles. Put fluid in it. I think that's it. Oh, bleed the brakes. And then go drive it, I guess. Something like that. I don't know. It's been so long. I'm just ready to drive this thing again. So anyways, let's get to work. All right, so this is the BC spring. It's a 10K. This is a Summit Racing. Not really a K, but it's a 125 pound spring. I want to say 10K is like 560, something like that. It's a 10 inch spring. Boop. 10 inches. This is like 6.5. Yeah. Let's take a look at these damper differences. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. Hold this for just a second. Stay right there while I unbox the goods. Pop tall! Pop tall! Pop tall! God damn. Jesus. I mean, really start bottom. Like, this is where they mount, is here to here. Yeah. Stud to stud. And that's a considerable amount of travel right there by itself. 4 1/4, 6. So 1 3/4 more inches. Anyway, that's the difference. But eventually it'll actually, in the strut housing, it'll get back down to close to where it was, but we're just gonna have that much more travel. So, I'm a Louisiana outlaw, half drift car and pop tall. So yeah, we about to pop tall, guys. So yeah, we finished the rear setup. I haven't really videoed it. It works. We did a custom sway bar mount setup. I got no light in here. Let's open this door for just a second. Damn, it's cold out there. It ain't that bad. Oh, it's so much better. Okay, so we finished up the rear cradle, as I call it. So I got the sway bars on there. We had to use the very last little bit that we had of length of the bar, and then we relocated the pickup point, the mounting point, to the rear, in the front of the cover instead of behind the cover. So redid all that. Put a hanger on the exhaust. Yay!
Oh, we got that other donut I need to put on.
Yeah, I do have the donut. Of course, you know, we did the reinforcements on the arm. Couldn't really see it, but a little triangle up in there. And the cover.
We got the shock relocation here. It was bolted, but that bolt kept moving, so now it's welded through there and all the way around. And we also made a bar that's picked up that point and goes under to tie into the rest of the trailer arm.
Yep.
And we've had straight stuff on there before. You can tell where it used to be welded. Yeah. But with these axles, CVs being so big, it was completely in the way. So we had to go kind of under it a little bit.
So the new tubing bender worked out great. It gave us the ability to do that. Plus, you can see where the cradle's tied into. This is a better shot. Cradle's tied into right there, and then goes back there to underneath the subframe. Ties into that part of the subframe. see back up in here. Eventually we're gonna do something where we're gonna tie in the body, the rocker panels. We're gonna run like a subframe connector from there to here. I think I talked about that, and we're gonna tie the whole thing together. But for now, this is
do a drop shaft loop through here.
Oh yeah, and a drop shaft loop. That's right. For now, it's working. So, anyways, on to the front. So this is what we had going on before. You know, we have an SLR Ultra Angle kit on here we've had for 12 years. And the original BC coilovers, super low kit. The car would just barely move at all on the hit. And this is like a little 6-inch, 560-pound spring. I think that it's a 10K, so it correlates to like about 560. The rears are 12Ks, somewhere in the 600s. We really need to have like a 780 to 800 spring in the back. But we're gonna work with what we got. Springs are like 50 bucks a piece. If it doesn't work out, I'll just buy some springs. But you can see we don't have a whole lot of travel. From this point here to the ground, keep this in mind, was 69.5 inches. Okay, so same exact identical setup. And what we did is we took the BC coils out. We bought the longest damper we could possibly slide up in there with the longest stroke. It's about 6 inches of stroke at the max. And then I bought like a little Summit spring. This is a 125-pound Summit spring that's 10 inches long. We slid down on top of there, got it back up in here. We had to grind a little bit out from under here. You can see our mess there. And we grinded a little bit out on the control arm and allowed it to droop a little bit more so we get a little bit more travel. And at this point now, this is 66.5 inches from the ground. So we gained approximately 3 inches of travel by just doing that modification. And then of course, maybe a little bit came from the suspension setup, but we know that it was hitting. In fact, you can see it right here. You can see where it's touching. And it's not allowing it to go anymore. So we grinded that down, smoothed that out a little bit, and allowed it to droop just a little bit more. So anyways, we're done with this side. We are going to work on the other side, and I'll show y'all a comparison of how long the dampers are, and we'll go from there. Well, we are back on the ground. It is done. We put in the 10-inch long, 125-pound springs from Summit, and the longest dampers we could fit from BC. You can see it's a little, like this is the, I want to say this is the lowest the car will go. We can go up, but we can't go down. And it's about exactly where it was before. We added a little bit of preload to it. So we've had this setup on here, and we had an inch of preload. So it's a 10-inch spring, and then we added an inch of preload and drove it. It felt like it didn't want to pop up as much as I wanted it to, so we added another inch of preload. So we got 2 inches of preload, and we adjusted the dampers pretty much all the way down. 4 clicks in from full soft. And what you're supposed to be able to do is lift the front of the car up with your hand. You're supposed to be able to lift it up by the bumper. See how it's, how I can move it like no problem now. Before it wouldn't move at all. Now I can literally lift the front end up by hand. So that's a lot better. We gained a considerable amount of travel. Check it out. Now the tire's off the ground. Quite a bit of travel. Yeah, this side probably shows a little bit better. This one's pretty far off the ground. Yeah, buddy. You can't really see up in there very well, but that's just a BC coil threaded all the way in to the lowest setting. 10-inch long spring, 125 pound. Yeah. So anyways, it definitely moves on its own now. Before it didn't move at all. Now has no problem moving. You see it didn't settle all the way down, but I can
Put some weight on it and bam, bam, bam.
it pops right back up. So we made a hit. It definitely makes a difference as far as the wheel coming up and transferring weight to the rear. I got a video of it, and you can see where the car's like kind of sits like this, and then whenever it hits, it actually looks like it's transferring weight to the back wheels. It's a noticeable improvement in the weight transfer, where before, like I said, this didn't do anything. You'd hit it and it would just barely move. Now it at least, so probably maybe like 3 inches of travel. I'll show the video of it. Keep in mind it was spinning the whole time. We're not on a prep surface. It's 40 degrees outside. It was just a hit, no warm up, no nothing, just see if it would move, and it does. So great success. Somewhere to start for sure. We are we're in a bit of a pickle though. Look what happened. That's my master cylinder. That's the rod bolt. Yeah, the push rod broke in half on me earlier. So I was coming down from a pull, threads into there like that, so it usually sits like this, and then nuts on the back side. Anyways, I was coming back from coming down from a pull and just wanted to see how well the brakes would do, and it didn't. The brakes didn't, and it just did not stop. So, a little scary. I was, we had just bled the brakes because we'd had all the brake system apart for doing the rear end setup. So I bled them a couple weekends ago by myself, and they did okay, but I needed some help doing it this time, so got them bled and went out there and just wanted to make a hard stop just to kind of test them, and just broke the rod right in half. Don't know how the rod broke, don't know why the rod broke. I guess that rod's just really weak. Kind of crazy. I don't know what else. It's got me kind of nervous. It was like 60 miles an hour, and good thing this thing downshifts abruptly. If you don't rev match, it grabs and slows the car down super fast. So I was able to stop and drive it straight into the shop, but man, that would have been bad. So I've ordered some new push rods for it. I'm gonna put those in, rebleed the system, test it out again, but I'm definitely about to install my hydro. That's got me nervous. I never thought that I would have, of all the braking problems that I would have, it would be a broken push rod. That is insane. It almost makes me want to build my own out of some grade 10 stuff, and I'm sure we can do it. Probably just buy a generic grade 10 rod, weld a head to it. Probably wouldn't be that hard, to be honest with you, but kind of got me nervous. It's a manual braking system, so we don't have a booster. So the harder you push, the harder, I mean, just like any other braking system, but it was very, very, very scary. So we're gonna do that, and yeah, I mean, I kind of need to go test it out. I want to see if this front end's gonna pop like it's supposed to. It does definitely pop up more, but with the tire spinning, it's only gonna do so much. So I want to see what it does on a prep surface. I bet this sucker will lift a front tire. That'd be awesome. Other than that, what else are we at? I need to work on some wiring in the trunk and cleaning it up. Oh, Justin he fixed the exhaust. I'm not going to show you right now. All he did, he basically just put a hanger on a donut so it floats now instead of being solid now. We probably showed it earlier yesterday, but I don't have video. I don't have a recollection that I showed it. Yeah, so now I got to put that master cylinder back in, and I want to add the hydro just in case. So if this ever happens again, I can just boop. I used to, back in the day, in some old videos you might have seen it, after I would make pulls, I would pull the hydro as I was slowing down with the fronts, and the car slowed down super fast, and I did it like every time because I would be going 120, 130 miles an hour on the street, and it would just slow down like it was nothing. So if I had a hydro and something like this happens, I can at least pull that carefully and slow the car down. Makes me also consider a parachute too, because that's That's really scary. Anyways, so that's our update. I'm gonna probably not film putting the hydro in, or not the hydro, probably not gonna film putting in the master cylinder. So I'm just gonna kind of end this video here and show y'all the small launches that we made to show the front end coming up, and that'll be that. Next time I'm on video would probably be going to the track or something, so we'll go from there.
I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened here today.